Mm. Yeah, I do. Mm. Yeah, I do want to apologize for some of the issues we are having. So I'm actually taking out some of this. I'm getting off issues we are having. So I'm actually taking out some of this. Let me see. I'm getting off. I have to stop this one. Okay, I believe I got that. So, 1 second. I believe. Let me see. Okay, now I think I got it. Yeah, so I do apologize, everybody. Yeah, these systems been screwing up. So I'm trying to get this actually set right now to where I believe we got it set. So yeah, it went offline, and I don't know how it did that. But then I can actually go through Zoom. It's a quicker way for me to actually to put it back up, but then it makes me shut down one. But as I was saying, hopefully that you guys if you have any questions, which I know it's less people over here now, but hopefully we can answer any questions that you guys might have, which I'm going through right now that we see here. And okay, appreciate it. I do appreciate it. And appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Brother Cunningham. Yeah. And it's saying is without blemish, is that referring to Romans 4:15? So we're gonna sit there and try to get some understanding on what she's actually talking about there. And let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I appreciate it. And let's see here. Let's go to Romans 4:15. We'll see. Let's look at it real quick. Because I'm gonna let you know right now, we're already in the wrong area. But we're just gonna go there and look at it. In 4:15, it says, because the law worketh wrath, for there is no law, there is no transgression. So like I was saying, I was already kind of sure where we were going. So what you're saying here is without blemish, that's referring to Romans 4:15, and no, it's not. So these are things why we try to have Paul explain Paul, and Paul is referring you back to the law. But for some reason, this is the problem that a lot of us have. We always refer back to Paul writings. And you refer back to Paul writings because Paul is not saying what you think he's saying. He said, because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there's no transgression. So we have to understand what Paul said. And what Paul's saying, where there is no law, so then when you bring law in, it's like wrath to them. That's all Paul is saying. So when we sitting there saying without blemish, that's what you're saying. So you got to look at it and you're trying to flip it in a different way. We got to hold of what it's actually saying. So Paul is pulling from the scriptures from the Old Testament, not from the New Testament. And do we pray in the name of Yahushua? Yeah, you can pray in the name of Yahushua. You praying to the Most High God. but you're praying on the name of the delivery of salvation. That's what you're praying on. So that's what we got to remember. And let me see. Oh, I appreciate it, Sister Brenda. I appreciate that. And Sister Foyle, yeah, appreciate that. A lot of clarification. And look like we're pretty good from that point. But what I was trying to let people know is tomorrow, we're going to be going through Romans. So we got to kick that up. Make sure you have your preceptual paper ready, because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff on there to show you how to sum all that up to start getting that understanding. So you got a whole nother set of precepts going to be thrown on you on Romans. And trying to see, so I believe that is it as far as the questions. So make sure that if anybody has not signed up for classes or anything over there with KJBU, please, you can go over there. You can sign up. You can sign up over there, and to where you can sign up for classes and everything that we actually running over here. So you can get in those where you can get your workbooks and everything, the way you can go through it. And you have a question about Matthew 13:17. Is it pertaining to the lesson or not? So let's go down to 13. You said 13:57. And yeah, so the same thing. Yeah, so your question about Matthew 13:57 is what? So I need to know what your question is. And I'm trying to see but I don't see anything as of yet. And trying to wait for your question on Matthew 13:57. And I'm seeing where it said saved. Okay, Matthew 13:57 don't say that. It says saved in his own country. Yeah, so that's what, okay, I see what you're saying. So you're looking at saved. No, saved where you read it, and I'm gonna read it out so people know what me and you are talking about. In 13:57, it says, and they were offended in him, but Yahushua said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, saved in his own country, but in his own house. But saved don't mean saved, that what it says. So saved is only. That's all that actually means. And you can actually see, in the Precept Bible, I show that all through there. But saved don't mean but only. Actually, even on my desk, I believe I had that is on my desk. Actually, I'm gonna show you that to where it's actually on my desktop, because I actually use that same one. And this is the same one I know you're talking about. And it's 13:57. So same thing. And I actually written it out to where it shows it. But you'll see, I'm doing the same thing. You see it right there. And they were offended at him, but Yahweh said unto them, a prophet is without honor only in his own country and in his own house. That's what that says. That's all that is saying. So that's how we look at that. And it says, thank you very much for your teaching. It's powerful that if you can bring back after Sabbath teachings. Yeah, that depends on how we're going to be working with the other. I do understand some, because I had quite a few people asking about that, but we're trying to sit there. We're trying to do a couple of other things, and hopefully that might come back, but I'm not sure as of yet. And okay, thank you. New King James instead. Now, New King James Bible. I wouldn't touch. That's the closest Bible to Satan that you ever want to get. Actually, their logo used to be actually the logo of Satan. A lot of people don't know that either. But the New King James Bible have nothing to do with the King James Bible itself. New King James Bible is just another catchphrase, as you'll see. You'll hear people say the Authorized King James Bible version. Authorized King James Bible version is not the actual version that is authorized. It's the catch name that they actually trademarks. So the authorized version is trademarked. And you can actually go even see that. So you'll see same thing with the New King James Bible is what they can do to change it up. So if you're using the New King James Bible, that's why you'll see except instead. So and instead it says in the New King James Bible say instead of save. Okay, so we're gonna see what instead is. So I gotta go. Let me pull up one of those Harry size Bibles and let me see if I can pull that up for you, because it actually has a couple of other things. If it have instead there, you got a real problem. We can okay, and we use these. Yeah, so I'm just looking for it, and hopefully, if I can pop that one up, we can do some things. So I'm gonna go to 1357, because if that's actually there, that's even bigger. That's even a bigger problem than what's going on, and which is something that actually you'll be bringing some knowledge to us. Okay, 57. I do not like the way they got this Bible laid out either. 57, 53, and 57. Yeah, it said a prophet is without honor except. You're right. You're right. Yeah, that's a serious issue. Dang, yes. Yeah, hopefully you're not using that Bible, because it's, yeah, except, yeah, that's, I don't even know what to say to that, because the except shouldn't even be there. So it's saying like that, except you can be accepting this. So they actually flipping it around. They making it saying he's still accepted by just these people. So, and that's not what the Bible actually saying. And so hey, I appreciate that, but yeah, but if you can get rid, I wouldn't use, because that literally switches it around. So I see why you asked the question. Anyway, and you see, we always have to, no, it's not a no. It's not, you don't have to say it all. Many people do it just by habit, but it's not a thing the way you have to say it every time. Because even as you speaking with God, you praying to him. And you're not gonna see every time you have to be talking to him, you ain't gonna be thanking him, thanking that name. Yes, 100% obedience is key. Correct. Yeah, my brother, be done with it. Be done with that bad boy. Because I'm gonna tell you, the New King James Bible, the closest ones to Satan. New King James Bible, running right behind it, a close second, is NIV. Right behind that one, C for Bible. And then you got the NLT. All those runs right down in line. And literally, you can have anyone come up to you with them. And I can, the worst part is, they can't show you the precepts of them, but I can always show you the precepts of what they're doing in their own Bible. And then I have them to even go through the King James, and I can have them do the King James, and I can do the same. We'll show the precepts of ours, then we'll go in their Bible, and then I show them precepts of theirs, and literally the Bible will contradict it. So that's why most people don't do that. And I'm trying to see. Yeah. just to have a clear understanding for myself. I'm blotting out other handwritings. Other ordinances will be the law and the protocols of what to do if one sin as an offering, as in the blemish free. Yeah, so I'm trying to understand kind of how you're saying that, but what you're doing, your body is sinful. It's flesh. It's flesh. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's do this real quick. This is an easier way. Because he actually did this for this reason. So I'm going to take you somewhere and we're going to see. So we're going to go to Genesis. I'm going to ask you to go to, this is Andrea. I'm going to ask you to go to Genesis chapter 3. And we're going to see what he did. And this is what you do. And I want you to go to Genesis chapter 3, and we're going to go to verse 17. And I'm going to do this for that reason, to show you exactly why he's telling you that. So it says, and unto Adam, he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and thou hast eaten of the tree, so he learned of the tree, of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Now he's going to clarify what he's going to do. Cursed is the ground for thy sakes. So he cursed the ground for our sakes. Most people they overlook that he cursed the ground for our sakes. So if he cursed it for our sake, that means we can't bring in nothing that was created from the ground. That's what so he can't create, so nothing that came from the ground, we cannot offer to him. That's what he's saying. So in sorrow shall thou eat of it all the days of thy life. So of the ground, we're going to eat of it all the days of our life. Now, it's the second part of the thing, what are you going to do? And this is why we know this is sinful. Drop down to verse 21. It says, unto Adam. And he says, saying to mankind. So he's talking to mankind. So he says, also into his wife, did the Lord God make them coats of skin? That's what you see physically right now. And clothed them. He clothed us in sin. That's why you see what David said, in sin was he fashioned and everything. That's why he says that. That's why he talks in that manner. Because we're clothed in sin. Because we have sin. So the sin passed from Adam to us. So what we do, if we take this body and nail this body on the wall and not try to do the works of this body, we're good. But if we're not doing that, we're in bad shape. Because now we're going to do works of the sin, works of the body, and not of the spirit. That's what he was saying all the time. But many people have taken that and they do it the other way around. That's what he's saying all together. So hopefully that kind of clears some of that up. And you should not worship any image or have any image of heaven. Does it mean we can have statues of animals for decoration? Yeah, you got them for declarations. Just got them for declarations, but you're not worshiping. That same thing, like I know a lot of people like elephants. I know a lot of women, none of men even they like elephants. And if you have an elephant, you might put it in your garden, you might put it in different places, but you're doing that for declarations, for your pleasure, because you like elephants. You're not worshiping the thing. It's no big deal. You're not sitting there praying. You don't have no issues with it. So you're fine with those. But what people do, they'll take say like an image, say an image of a cross, and they might have it decorated with some kind of way, and they put it in their garden. And then they sitting there, Lord, I got the Lord out here watching over my garden. Why? Now you're using that cross as God looking over your garden. That's a God to you. It's not God to God. And that's the image that people do. That's what people do. And no, they're not ready. They just about, but they're not quite there yet. Yeah, when you worshiping the Most High in spirit, that means, yeah, you obeying his royal law. His royal law is the commandments of God. Anything that's spoken that you see in the scripture. So, and to make sure we're clear here, let me make sure we're clear here. And this is based on what a lot of people, they hate to do. We're gonna go to 2 Peter and show you and make some clarifications. So we're gonna go to 2 Peter. We're gonna go to 1 Peter. I'm sorry, 1 Peter chapter 5. So we're gonna see something that he's gonna say in chapter 5 in 1 Peter, because he makes this purely clear. Now watch how he says 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 2. It says, "Feed the flock of God." So if anyone telling you you're their flock, now they saying they're the shepherd, but it's saying feed the flock of God. So what he did, he gave you feeders, pastors, and teachers to take his food, his word, to feed you as you feeding sheep, the same as you feed other animal. He's saying that's what he's saying. So we're not shepherds, as people like to say they're shepherds. We're not. Well, I'm not a shepherd. I put it that way. I'm talking for myself, and I can talk for my other elders I have with me. We're not shepherds at all. We're feeders. We're pastors. We're teachers. That's it. We go into the kitchen with the Most High. We get what he wants you to be fed with. We get it and we bring it out and we feed it to you. That's all we do. We're servants. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So it says, feed the flock of God, which is among you. So as you come to us, we'll feed you, which is among us. Taking oversight there, not by constraint, but willingly. So we have to be doing this and be willing to be doing this type of work, not for filthy lucre, not for money. So he makes this clear. So I shouldn't be out there feeding you and then trying to make something under the table. Because he already told me, he already promised me a penny. So if he promised me a penny, then when I come feed you, I shouldn't be trying to get something else or get something extra for me. Because now I'm being shady. And I'm not being shady just to you, I'm being shady to God. Because now I'm fleecing his people. So now he goes on more, but of a ready mind. Now he got that pretty much clear. Now watch, he says in verse 3, not being neither as being lords. Meaning what? Now you want to be control over people. Now I'm coming in and I'm running everything and you're going to do exactly what I tell you what to do. Now I'm going to be a lord over you. So whatever I say is law, not what God said is law, what I'm saying is law. That's being a lord. And you can go to almost any church and that's what they do. So people sit there, oh, he's my shepherd. He's this, he's that. Okay, so wherever he goes at the end, they goes. Why? Because he is their shepherd, not God. All we're supposed to do is, it says, not being lords over God here, but being examples. That's it. To the flock. So we just examples to the flock, not sitting there being a lord over you. So, and he said the greater that's within the flock is he should be the servant. So with the knowledge I have, I'm a servant. So I feed you. Now, some people might don't like what I feed. My thing is, I can care less. I'm feeding you. You might not like what's on the table for the day because it's something that's in that word that might hit you and you dislike it, but it's not my prerogative. That's what he's given the feed to help correct you. And that's what we have to accept, because many times it's many things that I've done and I'm sitting there doing it and I'm, man, and it's hitting me too, but I can't, but if I'm getting the plate to bring it out, if it hit me, it hit me. It doesn't matter. I'm not the control over it. He is. As long as you keep it in that way, you always be in good shape. So, but we see that people operate oppositely than what you see in the scriptures, because you see many people where they tell you to do one thing, same thing they told me a bunch of Israelite dudes was out there marching in Washington. They were marching somewhere in lines and doing. Just silliness, just pure silliness. Doing the same thing. What was the purpose of the walk? One, and what was the outcome of it? Most likely nothing, but that's what people do. And same as I tell you with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King had people marching 60 years ago. People still marching today. What was different from yesterday than today? Nothing. But that's what they do. And I appreciate it. And yep, 1 penny. That's all I'm looking for. 1 penny. And that penny is eternal life. So I'm good. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna look at some of these other things a little bit, because now we're running through a bunch of different scriptures, and I'm not going to be going through a bunch of different scriptures trying to get that understanding. So the only thing I can say, probably go back over the lesson, and then we can take care of that. And I appreciate it. So I'm trying to see. So other than that, we don't see any other ones. So with that, it looked like we're going to get ready to go off. But same thing, like I said, tomorrow, everybody who have your Romans workbooks, and you had that preceptual paper in there. We do have some people who have the digital preceptor. You have them out tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to be putting in some work, and we got to put some work in. And like I said, we don't come over here really to where I feed you a bunch of stuff that don't pertain to what God is doing. We have to learn to what He is and what He's about. So we get in Romans, we're going to learn a lot of stuff, because now we're going to sum up chapter 1 and dive right into 2. So that's what we got to do tomorrow. So we're going to take care of that tomorrow. A lot of you guys are going to enjoy it. You're going to find out a bunch of stuff on Paul, overall what he was saying in chapter 1, which many people won't learn many things. Now, if you're part of the class, a lot of the stuff, you end up getting the paperwork from it, which will help you out to where if you're over with the KJBU, you can get a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I'm going to still do the teaching on the feast. And the Feast of Tabernacles. Yeah, we have. Well, yeah. So the Feast of Tabernacles, and I wouldn't even go, because I guarantee they, as soon as they invited you to it, they already did it wrong. So I understand, and what a lot of people do. They like to do the Feast of they're doing the Feast of Tabernacles. As soon as they did the Feast of Tabernacles and they invited you to it, they did it wrong. Automatic. So this is a problem that a lot of people have. You have a lot of people, they like to get together with the Feast of Passover. It's really important to understand exactly what scriptures is and what it's saying, and understand the wording of it. That's why I tell people, and actually, as I keep saying, you have to understand the affiliations of what stuff mean, and you can get it. It's right there in the scriptures. But most people don't take the time. Most people sit there and say, I study. But we have to study how you study. Are you studying according to precepts, or are you studying according to trying to make something that you believe true based on the scriptures you find? That's the problem that we have. We need to base it on the precepts in scripture, because 99% of everything that you believe, if you have a personal or worldly understanding and you find it and it jives with you, you making it your own theology. So this is what we have to watch for. But no, I wouldn't go to it. I wouldn't go to it, because I guarantee Feast of Tabernacles, one, they need to understand what the Feast of Tabernacles actually is. They need to know what it is. And I guarantee they don't know. And actually, and the same thing, I can show you Any ABC camp cannot truly show you what that is. And it's right in front of them. And that's a guarantee. But they use that to get people together to normally get money to generate funds and money to where they can do other things. But if they're going to do just doing a get together to do that, then they should just say that. But when they put the Most High name on it to do something, they shouldn't do that. Why? Because they're telling you something that is actually not true. Because if they're telling you we all going to come together for the Passover and everybody going to come together and do this, 3,000% they did it wrong. And I can literally show them directly in the scriptures. Not something they need to see different, but just show it right. You can show it right to them. Why? Because they look over it. They look over scripture. And this is a big problem that goes on through. But people continually do it. So let me see. We have everything else. So it seems like we have no other questions. And I will go out. So I'm trying to see, do we have any questions? But it looks like we don't have any. Look like we're pretty good. So then I also let you guys know, within, I know, the next 2 weeks, I know the release of first and second Idris will be out. However, it might become a problem because of the content that is in there. They might make it kind of hard for people to get because the content is great. So I'm trying to get that worked out even before they do it, but I cannot guarantee that. So I'm trying to sit there and see. Look like we're pretty good. So I want to thank you, everybody. So on tomorrow, we'll be having a class. You'll see that going up and probably periodically to where we'll be doing we'll go through our Romans, which we'll be going through. Make sure you have your preceptual paper to go through, to make sure you be making outlines. All the ones who have the digital ones, make sure you have those prepared also, because we got some work that we have to put in and make sure we do it. If you haven't ordered it, you can go to KJBU. You can actually get there to where you can actually order your Romans book and learn a lot more through it and see what's happening. It says, this woman is trying to introduce me to the Sefer. Do I continue to hang with her? It don't have nothing to do with hanging with her, but just tell her that you choose not to use the Sefer Bible, because that Sefer Bible is nothing but a devil Bible. That's literally all it is. And it has so many. Actually, if she take the time and actually go read that man's biography, she'd actually trip off, because he said he read the Bible for himself and found that there was many errors in the Bible. So he based those errors based on what? He's not telling you. So it's based on his belief. That's what he did. So then he decided to correct those errors with what he believes. That's what he did with the Sefer Bible. And you have many people, teachers from that Sefer Bible. You have many, I'm talking about Israelites out there, teach from that thing. And people still sit there and hang with them. But that's the issue they have. Yeah, so yeah, because I'm going to tell you, I can show you, I'm talking about it's issue behind issue behind issue behind issue behind issue with that Sefer Bible. And then what they did, so let's say, okay, let's look at it this way. Let's look at the Sefer Bible this way. You have a King James Bible with the Apocrypha, the full entailed Bible. Now, to prove the point is you can go look at what did King James have translated. It'll show you all the Old Testament, all the Apocrypha, and all the New Testament. Closest time to the text that we can get to. We're gonna hold it right there. Now, you gotta remember, he was the first king of England. He was the sixth king of Scotland. I want you to put in your mind. to where you can see the kind of weight this man carried. So when he says something, things happen. Not in a literary, throughout all his providences, things happen. Now we have a man who comes out and says, this man had these translated, but these are wrong, and he added other books to it, saying King James didn't do it. So we're not basing it on the man itself, on King James, but we're basing it based on Isaiah 34:16. He said his spirit gathered them all. And if his spirit gathered them all, and those are the books that sit there and they never change, why do this man say it's an issue? And he added the Book of Jubilees, he added Jasher, he added all these books that his people created, and he added them to the book. So in the book, and then he made all the truth a lie anyway, because he put all his own stuff in there. So we have all these issues that's going on in this book. But now he said his book is complete. So now he wants you to believe it. So it's the same as I'm showing you with the polluted water. They drinking water that's fully polluted, and they drinking it as a truth. And now he's saying today we got a better understanding because now we got all these books in there, and they back there, they didn't have it right. So this is the problem that we have today. So if people want to run that direction, they run that direction. But the main thing is, what you have to remember is they believe that Enoch was, they said, well, from what I done seen in some people's books, Enoch is like running heaven. He's like the man. Then you even have people where they sit there and say Enoch was more holy than Abraham, Moses, and I'm telling you, can go literally, they got books out there on this. And it's craziness. It's craziness all through it. So, but people believe it. So if you believe this kind of stuff, that pulls you away from God and puts you with what you want to believe in. And this is the problem that we have today. And let me see. And it said, can I eat Chinese restaurants that have Buddha statues there? Is it wrong? Technically, I don't. And I'm telling you from what I believe. So I tell you something else. In a Chinese restaurant, which going to keep you out of there anyway? You go up to there. So you go up to there and ask them, do they use shale oil? Remember that word, shale oil. I don't know no Chinese restaurant that don't use it. As soon as they say shale oil, you already know, one, you can't eat it. But that's what they use. So that'll straighten that out right from there. And I don't get what precept teaching. I don't get what you're saying. Yeah, in the book, and that's another point. The book wasn't written to him, but he decided he gonna correct it. It's the same as they did with the Apocrypha. That's why we have a lot of issues. And I knew that was going to be kind of an issue, to where I knew once Idris was going to be giving foundational precepts and the affiliations in there, we knew we were going to run into some oppositions. We already kind of figured that, because it shows relations to the Old and the New Testament all through the Bible. So that's why they didn't want that there. But we already knew we were going to have that issue. And anyone in Florida? We have some people that's near Florida. A Kindle on the Sabbath? A Kindle? What are you? I'm not sure what you're asking. Yeah. What is shell oil? Okay. Shell oil is using like this, the sea urchins, shells from the ocean. That's what that is. So, and when you go in there, you can go in any Asian place and ask that question. And I tell you what, if some people, what they're not Benihanas, I can't think of the name of the place. It's a famous place where I know a lot of people like to go and eat, and it's an Asian community place. They go there, and you can ask them, and do they have shell? Do they use shell oil? Same thing. I had another person who wanted to take me to it, and I told him that's not cool. So we go there, and that's the first thing I ask them: do you guys use shell oil? This is kind of like a high-end Asian restaurant. They sat there and said, "I'm gonna tell you what, you probably want to eat somewhere else." Came right out of their mouth. You probably want to eat somewhere else. I say, well, you can't tell me if you do. They say that's our prerogative if we want to use it or not. However, you might want to eat somewhere else. It literally excused us to leave. Okay, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I know, yeah, sometimes it's hard and to go through it. And Andrea, actually, a very extremely good way to look at it. Our flesh is a stumbling block, yes. So the easiest thing to do, move your flesh out of the way. Move it out the way. You have to worship him in spirit and in truth. Move flesh completely out of the way. And you pretty much, you'll see a whole lot of stuff that you need to be doing that's right. So yeah, good way to look at it. But sitting there saying, nailing this man back to the wall and just keep putting, they keep using the same man no matter what. He's saying, you can sin, just keep sinning. But then you keep going, you're not only going back to get this man who did it, and he tell you, you pick up your own cross and you follow me. But they keep going back and get this dead man and offer him up. You gonna tell me you're not shady? This is what we do. No, you should have had that prepared by yesterday. See, and the same thing, if you want to boil water, you can get some thermoses which last we can have water heated for hours and hours at a time. Heat that water up yesterday and put it in there, you would have been good. So there's different ways of doing it. Yeah. Chinese restaurant, yeah. Because I'm gonna tell you, they good at doing it. But you just shock yourself, but just go there and ask them to validate it. Just say, hey, do you guys use shell oil? And they're gonna tell you right off the bat because they use it. Some will tell you, some won't. Some are just gonna walk away from you. But they use shell oil. Because some of the famous things, some might say, are you allergic to it? You might say this. Say, all you gotta do is just say, I'm asking you, do you use shell oil? And some of them gonna answer, some will not. That's all gonna happen. But they not going. But majority of them use shell oil. And a lot of people, like what they don't know either. A lot of your Asian community, they love to use also lard. Lard is a big user of what they do. Yeah, MSG is another good one, but they love to use. And seeing the only thing with the Most High, I'm pretty blessed with. MSG is like kryptonite to my body, which I don't know why, but I'm glad my body is like that. If my body ingests anything you cook and it got MSG in it, I would literally get a massive headache. And the worst thing, I can even feel it come on. So as soon as I eat, within like a minute or two, I can feel a serious headache to where it's almost like a migraine, to where I cannot do anything if I eat anything with MSG. It's automatic. So that's one way how I knew when somebody brings something to say, oh no, don't have this, don't have that. And I eat it, and that happens, I already know it got MSG in it. Yeah, in his yeah he no he was having some issues with some technical difficulties. He got those straightened out. We got all that straightened out. So he moved that over to next Thursday. So this coming Thursday, he had come up with his teaching. So Elder T's teaching, yeah, he's still going to do the same teaching, but he had to move it over because he was having some technical difficulties. So we got all that straightened out. And what was up there was me and him going through getting it all straightened out. So that's what he removed. Yeah, yeah. See, everybody, yeah, MSG do a lot of stuff to different people. And you actually can see this by what they posted. Yeah, yeah. Yes, lard is swine. Exactly what it is. And they love to use it by the pound for us. So, so look like everything else we're pretty good on. So with that, I will be going out. So I will be looking. So we have one place we see right there where the person put in there. Popeye loves lard. So now we're finding out with them, and which I do know I was even just told this actually this past week that I do know if people go to Popeyes, they like their beans and all that stuff. They actually cook it with pork. And he telling you, especially in the new chicken sandwich, he telling you right up front. So a lot of people don't know. I was buying 100% beef hot dogs and found out the casing was made from pork. Yeah, that's very common. Very, very common. That a lot of beef hot dogs are have pork casings. So those are things that we just have to watch for because they're doing everything. If you remember, you used to come buy a burger and then they'll charge you $1.50 to put on pork, to put on bacon. Now you buy a burger, you have to tell them what not to do on there. So so with that, I believe we got everything else on good on everybody. So with that, hopefully that you guys continue. And tomorrow we'll be ready for the book of Romans. So until then, I will sit there and I will tell each and every person a shalom and to tomorrow.